Finish have multiple masters on the go at the moment. In fact, in a couple of months' time, we're going to be getting Sacha Dhawan's master, the Spy Master, in a series called Call Me Master. However, we do have Master, ! Played by the TV movie incarnation, Eric Roberts. Now, he blasted onto Big Finish audio dramas in March 2021 with his own range here, where these are basically stories with Vienna Salvatore, who was a supporting character in some 7th Doctor Big Finish audio dramas years ago, and she got her own spin-off series there. And now they've sort of merged these two characters into this weird rivalry that you wouldn't really think of in terms of like, okay, how we're going to bring back the Eric Roberts Master into Big Finish. But they've done really well with this, particularly in the follow-up story Master Nemesis Express, which is essentially Doctor Who meets Snowpiercer, except you've got the Master and it's in the time vortex. I remember Nemesis Express being a really good box set. However, that was about 2 years ago. Eric Roberts' Master took 2023 off, but is now back in Master, ! Planet Doom, which once again sees the Master teaming up with, or against kind of, Vienna Salvatore. And we also have the Axon 8th Doctor here as well. So for those of you who don't know, the Axons were a race of aliens that the Doctor and the Master encountered and fought with and fought against during the Third Doctor era. It was John Pertwee and Roger Delgado where the Master was trying to use the Axons in order to conquer Earth. And what's interesting early on in Master Planet Doom is that it seems like the Master genuinely might not remember that encounter, not because he's got a bad memory, but because he has had so many harebrained schemes, he has had so many betrayals, and he's had so many collaborations that have been doomed to fail across the millennia, that maybe he just doesn't remember this particular one. It leaves it a little bit ambiguous for the first part of the story, but later on it does firmly plant its feet on, okay, no, the Master maybe does or doesn't remember this event. But anyway, spoilers. So Master Planet Doom sees, of course, the Master has been revived again after the events of Nemesis Express, and they are basically forced by this government task force, this sort of like covert ops unit, to go to the planet of Axos, although the Master and Vienna don't know that it's Axos at the beginning of the story, in order to try and harness the power of Axos for capitalistic reasons, obviously, because of course it all comes down to bloody money, to quote the 9th Doctor in The End of the World. And you've got Operation Basilisk, where you've got this group of soldiers who take the Master and Vienna. They are essentially tethered together by these handcuffs, and if they go within a certain distance away, the Master dies, and that is a way to sort of force his cooperation. There's been a group that went to the planet Axos on a mission. They did not return. They lost communication. So this group essentially forced the Master and Vienna Salvatore, who was the world's most famous and world's most successful bounty hunter, in order to go to the planet Axos in order to harness the resources there, and they don't quite know what they're in for. Let's play a quick clip from the first story, because this is essentially, much like Nemesis Express, this isn't so much 3 standalone stories, this is a 3-part epic adventure. You've got Basilisk by Robert Whitelock, Axos Rising by Barnaby Kay, and Hellbound by Robert Valentine. Let's play a quick clip from Basilisk.
First day of school. Always nice to see a familiar face. Am I right, Vienna?
I see the Vortex hasn't done anything to knock the corners off that duplicitous charm.
A few more seconds in that lab and you'd have been a puff of free-floating ions.
It'll take more than what you've got to bury me.
Welcome to Gateway Erida. Be seated. Mr. Phillips will brief you on your imminent deployment.
Firstly, I'd like to welcome our new contract partners. This is Vienna Salvatore, the most infamous assassin of this epoch. You have any words for us, Vienna?
I'd say it's nice to be here, but I'm doing my best to be upfront and honest these days.
She'll be working in an advisory capacity, and the belligerent-looking gentleman to her right is known simply as the Master. He's a specialist in his field, and he'll be working closely with us on this mission.
Are you expecting me to say something here?
Only if you want to.
In that case, I have a question. What's to stop me from killing Salvatore right this second?
That cuff on your wrist's linked to hers. If you stray more than 50 meters from her, you die. If you escape individually, you die. And if either of you kills the other, the cuff will let me know, and I'll kill you with the push of a button.
I see.
Just to clarify, the Master and Miss Salvatore are working under duress.
That's an understatement.
Okay, let's get into it.
So, like I said, this is a 3-hour adventure, and what we get with Master Planet Doom is kind of like an Indiana Jones archaeological expedition story with a bunch of red shirts. If there's one thing that does let down Planet Doom on the whole, it's that the cast of characters that the Master and Vienna Salvatore are traveling with into Axos, they're not interesting. They're performed well. I can't fault the actors. There's just not really anything interesting to their characterization, so much as they are vehicles to explore Vienna's morality as trying to be a bounty hunter who's trying to amend her situation and trying to amend her reputation and her morality, and also the Master, who is willing to play every dirty trick in the book in order to ensure his own survival and his own supremacy over these feeble-minded creatures. What I loved about the first chapter, though, Basilisk, is that when you had Nemesis Express, it was primarily from Vienna's perspective, as well as Passion, played by Terry and Bob Baxter, as like a pseudo companion type character to Vienna, and it was mainly from their perspective, and the Master was present throughout. However, because he was like at the other end of the ship, he was kind of separated from the other characters, and while Eric Roberts was terrific, he didn't have much interplay between these other characters. With Planet Doom, he has so much more chemistry or opportunities to showcase his chemistry in this format where he's kind of leading these characters to their death, to their doom, like to sort of co-opt the title there. And with that said, I think that this is Eric Roberts' best performance across these 3 box sets that he's done over the course of the past few years, because he's able to have such great interplay with these characters. And the way he's like able to manipulate the situation, he's able to like, of course, try and manipulate Vienna to an extent, but also try and like hypnotize and control these people, trying to usurp their authority with his presence, his power, his subliminal hypnosis. It's really fascinating. It's kind of great to see, at least at the beginning, Eric Roberts' Master sort of, not on the back foot, he's always in control, but sort of like feigning this weakness or feigning this powerlessness in order to usurp them later on. It's a really strong dynamic, and I really, really liked how it didn't rush into the mission. It used this opening chapter to sort of like lay the stakes out and to sort of like warm and ease audiences into this dynamic that's going to play out over the next few stories. What surprised me though in this story is that while Vienna does mention Passion, because she played such a key role in the last story, Nemesis Express, I kind of thought, okay, maybe they've sort of dropped that angle, or maybe that was just one supporting character in Vienna's journey across the stars. However, in the next story, Axos Rising, we get this sort of B-plot where Passion is trying to find Vienna Salvatore and trying to figure out which covert ops unit has kidnapped her and where they've taken her and what the mission is. And those are some really cool scenes where we get to learn more about Passion and what drives her and her relationship with Vienna. And it was great to see this long-form character arc that started in Nemesis Express carry on in Planet Doom. However, the main A-plot is the Master and Vienna and these characters making their way through Axos and just going through death trap after death trap. Let's play a quick clip from Axos Rising.
Now listen, the Collider will disable the energy field with a bit of a pop, so be prepared. Once I get to those levers, I'll be able to figure a way into the ziggurat. Everyone excited?
Wait. We should take some precautions in case. Wait!
Woo! Here we go then!
Have you got any idea what you're doing?
Sure. I'm pulling levers until something happens.
Look at those markings.
Yes. Pretty, aren't they?
They're glyphs. Instructions, maybe?
Possibly. Or maybe I'm just lucky.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, hold on to something. We're running out of...
Jump!
What?
If we don't jump, we'll fall. Do it!
He's right on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Go, go, go!
The dynamic of the story reminded me a lot of the War Master Rogue Encounter story runtime by Tim Foley, where the Master is essentially leading these characters to their deaths and he knows it, and I really found that dynamic funny, where you've got these covert ops soldiers who are certain that they're going to outwit and outflank and outthink the Master, and Vienna just knows that this is like a doomed venture from the beginning, but she's just trying to survive. And it's, it's basically, this middle chapter is how many bodies can pile high until they learn that they can't defeat the Master, and also try and manipulate the environment around them on Axos. But yeah, just seeing the Master just take every single opportunity he can to manipulate everyone around him in this story, really, really effective. But like I said, it's the B plot where Passion is able to try and find Vienna, and how that unfolds over the next story as well, where they do eventually reunite and what they say to each other. Some really effective, like, dramatic moments there. I thought it was really strong. There is part 3, Hellbound by Robert Valentine, which does see Paul McGann show up as the 8th Doctor. But I won't play any clips from that because this is the final act in a massive 3-hour story, and I really couldn't find any sort of spoiler-free clips. But Paul McGann is really, really strong. It's great to see that he does recognize Vienna Salvatore from his previous incarnation, because like I said, she's a character from a 7th Doctor Big Finish story. There's not too much in the way of Paul McGann and Eric Roberts interactions, which is a little bit disappointing because, these are the TV movie Doctor and Master. I really wish there was actually more between those two. Unfortunately not. However, maybe they can do that later on. I don't know, maybe they're setting some stuff up. It is fun though, how very meta at the end the Doctor gets, talking about ways that the Master could survive or come back, and he just lists off a bunch of ways, yeah, the Master's probably coming back. The Master's survived this and that, and he's been disintegrated, he's turned into smoke, he's turned into a snake, as Daleks have it, and he's probably gonna happen again, whatever. I thought that was kind of like the script sort of throwing its hands up in the air. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, some surprisingly strong character work between Vienna and Passion that I really, really appreciated. I thought that Chase Masterson, who plays Vienna, and Terry Ann Bob Baxter as Passion, they worked really well with each other, and it's a dynamic that I really want to see continue to unfold over future box sets, if of course they do continue the Master and Vienna Salvatore rivalry that these box sets are doing. Like I said, I don't think that the Master, Eric Roberts Master, and Vienna would have been people's first choice for Master and character pairings across one box set, let alone 3, but Big Finish have gotten a lot of strong mileage out of it. I don't know Vienna in any other context other than these Master box sets. I've not listened to the 7th Doctor adventure that she did. I've not listened to her spin-off box set. I'm sorry, I'm only one man. We're just normal men here. But I really liked this dynamic, and they get a lot of strong mileage out of it. I thought that it was really strong. Planet Doom, I don't think it's as good as Nemesis Express, because I think that Nemesis Express has the more interesting supporting cast, and also has the really strong setting of the Nemesis Express. It really has the strong setting of this train that's hurtling through the time vortex, so you get this forward momentum of the plot, you get this Snowpiercer approach, whereas Planet Doom is more archaeological expedition. It is like Indiana Jones, with some throwbacks and references to the 3rd Doctor era, and also the 8th Doctor making an appearance. But that's not to sell it short though. This was really good. This was surprisingly good, and I think that out of these 3, if you want peak Eric Roberts, Master Manipulator, suave and he knows it, really charming, and he knows full well. I really like the idea of the Master knowing the strengths of his regeneration. You get the War Master, who knows that he's sort of a befuddled old man in terms of appearance, and he really leans into that to lull people into a false sense of security. And I think the road that they've taken for this Master is that he knows that he's a suave, cocky American who's got real charm factor. And I think that he knows that, and he leans into it. And it's a really interesting characterization that they do explore very effectively in Planet Doom. This was really good. Really strong. Dug it a lot. I don't know if it's as good as Nemesis Express, but Nemesis Express was a really strong release, so no shame in that. I'm still not a big fan of the first one, but these two are really great. We're just normal men, lol. What do you mean normal men? We're just ordinary men. For those of you who don't know the context for that.
We're just normal men. What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.